Good evening, everyone. I hand over to the chair of tonight's meeting. I remind everyone here in the room we are now live streaming. We politely request that all participants wait until being invited to speak by the chair. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand. Once invited to speak, please preface your contribution by stating your name. This will help the mics lock in on the primary speaker and thereby maximise the sound quality for those watching at home. If you are watching at home and must participate in tonight's meeting, please turn your video on. If you're just observing, please turn your video off. Unless actively speaking, all those watching the meeting via Zoom should have their mics muted. Members of the public are reminded that public participation is for questions only. Comments, suggestions or representations may be made at the discretion of the chair of the meeting. In case of a fire evacuation, the fire point is the marketplace. This evening there will be no fire drills. And I hand over to tonight's chair, Councillor Price.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for coming to this meeting of full council. First item, apologies. Do we have any apologies for tonight?
Councillor Alford and Councillor Ellis.
Thank you very much. Any declarations of interest at all?
Yes, I would like to say that when we come to, I'm going to say this in public session, I won't say anything about the confidential names of people. When we come to the confidential session, I have got a professional relationship with two of the people that we are discussing. I think it would be inappropriate for me to actually partake in those discussions. I will probably just, I'll just probably go and sit at the back, but I won't take part in any of those conversations at all.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else at all? Brilliant. Thank you very much. Item 3, public participation. Do you have anyone online or present who would like to speak? Yes, so if you want to come forward, please, and state your name for the camera.
Good evening. Through you, Chair. Yeah, my name is Sue Mortimer, resident of Melksham. My first question is about CCTV in Melksham. Is it used for a deterrent or prosecution? I use an example of something that happened back in October 2024. The first week in October, there was a settee dumped in the brook at the bottom of the KGB playing fields, which my house backs onto. It might have been dumped Thursday the 30th of October. Thursday the 3rd of October, but I only noticed it on the Saturday the 5th of October when I was back to Parkland. So that's when the settee was dumped, between the 3rd of October or the 5th of October. Saturday the 5th of October, I reported it to my Wilts. I've got a case number for that. Later on in the day, 6:30 on a Saturday, I had a reply from Wiltshire Council saying the case had been assigned to officers. Monday the 7th of October, I had a reply from Wiltshire Council saying it wasn't their responsibility. I phoned so later that day, I phoned the Environment Agency hotline, and that was Adrienne's suggestion. The Environment Agency answered quickly, and they said it was the responsibility of landowners unless it was causing flooding. I said it was stopping the flow, so it would eventually cause flooding. The Environment Agency agreed then to look into it for me, and I presumed as the settee was gone over the next few days that the Environment Agency dealt with it. Sunday the 6th of October, there was an article on local news and TV about how well Wiltshire Council were doing with dealing with fly tipping. Monday the 7th of October, I informed Wiltshire Council of the excellent CCTV in the area, because there's no way that settee could have got, down to the brook without being picked up by the CCTV that goes around the inner farm. They said they were going to look at it. I gave them Brian's name as council contact. So my question is, was the CCT ever looked at regarding the fly tipping? And if not, why not?
Thank you very much, Sue. No, the CCTV was not looked at. because that isn't the purpose of the CCTV wasn't for us to look at it at our own discretion if there'd been fly tipping. A policy came through recently within town council and it had several iterations in which it would only be accessed through the request of the police. So if the police haven't requested access to the CCTV, then it wouldn't have been seen.
Right, thank you. Seemed a missed opportunity there really to report somebody I could bill, but that's the policy. So I asked a question to Tracy, what does the payment from the cash book month 7, page 2 on the report, page 85 of the agenda pack, 1st of October 24, Warner Goodman LLP, £504.07. What does that relate to? I have had a response from Tracy and she said it related to professional fees. Last meeting, I asked for a breakdown of code 1173, the live show for hire. The amount on that code is £13,752. I've still not had a breakdown of that on my code.
Kalpesh is currently on leave, so when he returns, we may be able to get something back to you, but until then, we can't, I'm afraid.
So there's nobody else in the office that can run off a nominal ledger?
Now's what we've been out, but obviously you've been tied up with all
Yeah.
the budget work, so.
Yeah, due to the budget, obviously using up quite a lot of time, that was currently also occupied, so no one's been able to do that, I'm afraid.
It's a 2-minute job to.
No one's been able to do it, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll get it soon, will I?
When Kalpesh returns.
Yeah, if Malcolm will run off the report, I'll get it.
Yeah, we'll speak to Mal and, well, if it isn't, by the time Kalpesh returns, we'll speak to Kalpesh then.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. Right,
That's all waiting to come in.
Thank you, Councillor.
They're in now.
Councillor Mark Harris, you've got your camera on, is that because you wish to speak? Yeah, fantastic. If you want to unmute and then just state your name for the camera, make sure everyone is aware you're speaking, and then ask away.
Hi, good evening, Melksham Town Council, Councillor Mark Harris, Melksham Without Parish Council here. Couple of things on your agenda this evening I'm interested in. The first one is the Melksham East Community Centre, Community Hall. Interested to know if there's any update on that. And the second one is the CCTV item that you've got at the end of your agenda. I've been the Parish Council representative on the joint CCTV working party since April of last year. I've never been notified of any meetings or any information sent to me or anything at all. I would be grateful if somebody could just appraise me of the situation with the CCTV and include me in any correspondence or meetings. That would be very helpful to both me and the Parish Council. Thank you.
Just for confirmation, Mark, are you looking for an answer now? But there is an element of this agenda, although it states confidential, there is an element of the CCTV that isn't part of confidential. It was mistakenly added to the agenda in that way. So the deployable cameras themselves, that will be a discussion that's brought into public session. Do you want to me to answer your question now, or do you want to wait until that discussion happens?
No, I can wait. I'll stick around for the East of Melksham Community Centre item, and then I'll leave, and I'll catch up with the CCTV item later, or if there's anything interesting to report that the Parish Council should know about, perhaps you could just let me know and I'll pass it on. Thank you.
CCTV is under confidential.
The deployable cameras were put under confidential by accident. There is an element of CCTV that's going to be in confidential session, but deployable cameras are going to be brought into public session, as we don't need to have that in confidential. And if we can have something public, I think it's important we do. Yes, John.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to raise 2 points at this point. One of them was that I don't believe that the item that is going into confidential session necessitates confidential session. I don't see anything in there that is commercially sensitive in any way, shape or form. And there's nothing there that could be asking us to make a decision tonight because it doesn't comply with our financial regulations anyway. Secondly, I did also want to raise the point that Councillor Harris has raised, that we do have a working group for CCTV on this council. I have asked in full council meetings, I don't know on how many occasions, about when are we next having a working group meeting for CCTV. I have pushed and pushed on this, and I was frankly shocked to see that we had a report coming to us this evening suggesting that there were A, some of the issues that it is suggesting, and B, that officers have been going out and looking to procure alternative arrangements from elsewhere without any reference back to members, and particularly back to the working group that is supposed to be and have oversight of this item.
Well, I can only apologise for that as the report has come. For confirmation view, Tracy, do you feel the elements of that meeting do need to remain confidential?
I think it's protecting the council, yes, because
But protecting the council because of the decisions it's made. It's not protecting the council in terms of actually the Local Government Act.
if you're discussing a said contractor and you're discussing things about that contract, then yes, I believe that if you, just in case a member was to say anything that could be deemed as libelous in public session, to protect the council, I think it's best to be discussed in confidential discussion. It's up to council to make that decision. They can move the whole item out, but that is my advice.
So when we get to the item, obviously we can have the conversation whether we put into confidential session then, John.
Just to remind you, if you say something libelous in private session or public session, libel is libel.
Thank you. So, Mark, can I just ask, unless you have something else to ask, are you able to turn your camera off, please? Just so then it's clear for me to know if you want to have your say or anything. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, will do.
Amazing, thank you. Item 4, questions from councillors. Have we had any? Okay, great. Minutes to confirm as a correct record the minutes of the full town council meeting held on the 25th of November, 2nd of December and the 6th of January. Do we have any comments or notes on that at all? I'm sorry, for minutes, no, I'm not going to suspend standing orders. We allowed public participation beforehand. I think we've had that discussion a few times that we can't keep. So I'm afraid.
I did send it in just case what I was concerned with.
We can do that outside this meeting, but I'm not going to suspend standing orders for that. Sue, I'm really sorry.
So, Chair, can I just clarify? Was there a query to the minutes that was sent in by a member of public that's been withheld from the council now, or was the query not regarding the minutes?
No, minutes, it's for the council to agree whether they agree those minutes or not.
Yes, but if a member of the public has sent in a question about those minutes and is trying to raise that, council has the right to know what that issue is before such time as we vote on whether they're accurate or not.
But in all due respect, like the mayor said, then that member of the public could have brought it up in the public session, not wait.
The member of the public has said that she wrote to you about it.
I don't know, but I'll check outside of the.
If we've had a query, if we've actually had an email, are we able to?
I can't remember.
Okay, but for the sake of.
Research the email, before we move on, because I do think this is quite important.
Yeah,
I'm concerned we're not replying to residents emailing the department.
Sorry, so for the sake of this, wait, Sue, I've spent standing orders, so
just
for the sake of this, because minutes are a very valid concern, and if you raise concern and we haven't, that's fine. I will propose we suspend standing orders for this one topic. Have I got a seconder?
Second.
In favour? Thank you very much. Sorry, Sue.
Yeah, Andrew made a comment about DKL on the state to whether they've broken any confidentiality or not. And I would just like that clarified. It needs to be said in the notes that there was no confidentiality broken, because I was the one that raised it with the case.
So all due respect to that, we can't add that to the minutes because that wasn't said during the meeting. We can't just retrospectively write an opinion in the minutes.
She did say it in the meeting.
In the meeting, she said no.
Absolutely did say it in the
she did.
meeting.
Okay,
No,
if we-
nothing confidential was given to her.
I'll be able to add that to the minute.
So which one was it? Because there was a reason,
It could be said now.
sorry, the when?
Which item number are we talking about?
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
So public participation, what was it, the 2nd of December? Was that the meeting? Yeah.
He was talking about the report they gave for the traffic.
Yes, because councillor Griffin raised. Hang on a second, okay, oh, yes, it wasn't in public participation, was it?
No.
VAT partial exemption. Standing order suspended. Sue Mortimer referenced a letter from DCK and asked why it was not in the agenda pack and why MTC was opting not to tax members' advice. Town Mayor Councillor Price confirmed MTC was now taxing and had a finance team to advise on these matters. Then orders is stated. Councillor Griffin was concerned if DCK had revealed information to a member of the public. The Town Mayor, Councillor Price, asked officers to investigate and find out what, if anything, had been revealed by DCK. I couldn't minute that there hadn't been anything revealed because that was not proved in the meeting.
If that's something that you said, Sue, and other councillor remembers that, then they're more than welcome to propose that we have that amended. But
I just think it's in fairness to DCK.
I can
that's fair enough.
minute that councillor, that Mr. Sue Mortimer said nothing had been revealed, but what Sue's email said was she wanted it minuted that nothing had been revealed. I cannot minute that because there was no evidence of that. The best I can do is minute that Sue Mortimer said nothing was revealed. I can't minute that nothing was revealed because I didn't know that.
One second, John, do you want to
Can
just?
I propose that we adjust the minutes?
Yeah.
To clarify that the member of the public confirmed that no information had been revealed, or she had not revealed, or they had not revealed to her. She says that.
So I would
okay?
prefer stating.
And if I heard when you read the minutes correctly there, then, Andrew, you said that we were going to invest, or the mayor said that we would investigate as to whether that had been done or not. So I assume that investigation has taken place, and our minutes today can reflect the outcome of that investigation.
I'm going to re-adjourn the meeting, sorry, but thank you very much, Sue. That's a valid point. And I do want to say for the record as well, in defence of Tracy, that email was sent to all councillors and addressed to myself. Tracy was not sent that email. I think we were all sent it, but it was addressed to myself and it wasn't responded to.
Sorry, I think I was copied in, but it wasn't for me
Yeah.
to respond, but I did forward it on to Cowpesh, actually, to
Yeah.
give advice.
So I'll apologise there, Sue. That was addressed to me and I didn't respond to you on that. Thank you for raising it.
Proposal on the table, I'll second that.
Okay.
But we need to know what the outcome of the investigation was for the proposal to be able to go through.
Have we investigated to find out what was?
No, I don't know. I'll come back to you on that.
We haven't investigated yet.
Sorry, can I just say
That was what
something?
was said at the last meeting, but
Can I just say something though, please? We are absolutely inundated with priority work at the moment. We can't just cancel our priority work and question members of the public and respond straight away. And it's councils make their priority of what they want us to undertake. And we are again, which I know you've all had trouble with before, are getting at breaking point. So please, can you just give us a little bit of slack at this moment in time? Thank you.
Very much. Sorry, do I have a second to reinstate standing orders? Before we continue? Jenny, all in favour? All against? Abstentions? So you had an motion, John, but you're unhappy with that motion now as the investigation has been done.
the motion I've put forward is that we record that the member of the public says that there was no breach, which the committee clerk is happy we can record, I think all we can do is amend the proposal to say that the promised investigation will come back to us in due course.
Correct. And Jenny, did you second that?
Yeah.
Happy to second that.
I mean, it was more the statement of round
Yes.
2 that I was seconding, but yeah, that's fine.
Okay, other than that, any more comments on the minutes? Okay then, all in favour? Unanimous, thank you very much. Fine then. Town mayor's announcements, I don't really have anything massively exciting to announce except for, if I can be so bold to put you, Ben, slightly on the spot. This is Ben, could you introduce yourself for the council and anyone watching at home, please?
No pressure.
Yes, hi everybody, good evening. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'll soon sort that out.
It's brilliant to have gained so many great insights so far and to speak to so many of you. And really enjoying it and looking forward to the rest of it. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Police support. I know we have our police here today. Thank you very much, both. Would you like to present something to us today?
Good evening. I just thought haven't had the opportunity to attend one of these for a little while. It's been a rather busy period for us. As I'm sure you're all aware, Christmas brings all sorts to us. But just to let you know kind of what we've been up to of late. And I'm going to go back from end of November really, where we held a successful Melksham family evening event. That was held in the Assembly hall, isn't it? Assembly hall. A really, really good opportunity for us to bring our multi-agency and partners teams together to basically present to Melksham families, not just from tricky backgrounds, but from all walks of life, what's available within the community, what we do, what our youth offending teams do, what the neighbourhood harm reduction units do. We had people from the NHS turn up to discuss healthy living options. We had Spurgeons, who are a charity that support local families. We had all sorts. So I'd just like to publicly say now, thank you very much to all of those people who gave up their Friday. Councillor Oatley turned up. People had their bikes stamped to prevent bike theft. So very good evening had. So much so that we will be holding another event in spring. That one will probably be in the park in better weather so that we can bring in some more foot traffic, fingers crossed. Or we might be under an awful lot of gazebos. We'll see how we go. But ultimately, a really good engagement evening had. Further to that, over the last couple of months, I've been building relationships up with the Wiltshire Council sporting teams, some of our local gyms in the area. Something that we're focused on at the moment is kind of channeling youths who are kind of first, second time offenders into sports, so that they have something else in their life to take up their time. They can build relationships with peer groups. They've got adults who they might not have under normal circumstances within their lives, who can also act as a bit of a counsellor figure as well. So at the moment, a lot of energy is going into those projects, and we will let you know how they go in due course. We've had 2 closure orders put in Melksham. One was a retail premises, the Milksham Vape Shop. So we worked with Trading Standards to close that down for 3 months due to the illicit selling of tobacco from within the premises. That is basically us supporting Trading Standards. They're taking on that investigation. So that's a 3-month closure order. We've put a closure order on a residential property within Melksham that was linked to drug dealing and antisocial behaviour. I'm pleased to say that as a result of that closure order, offending and reports have gone down significantly. So that will be something that we'll be looking at in regards to other properties in due course. Finally, mini police started again. So with the re-emerging, the starting of the new school year, we've started that up again with a number of primary schools within our area. So that's something that we very much enjoy, especially PCSA Griffin, who is here with me tonight, and puts an awful lot of energy into bringing on those young kids and introducing them to the world of policing and being safe and sound in the public arena. So January activities, just to let you know what we're doing. This week we've got the mobile police station touring, Melksham, Bradford-on-Avon and Trowbridge, and we are offering bike stamping and tax stamping as well. So as you can tell, we've learnt a new skill, so we are stamping anything and everything we possibly can do. If it moves, we'll put a sticker on it. So we are going to be in Melksham. Just so you know, Tuesday we're in Seed in the morning. We're going to be in Melksham Town Centre on Wednesday, and my team will be at Melksham Oak Wednesday afternoon. So we're offering the bike stamping to a lot of the students at the schools now. That's where we see our spike in bike thefts. We'll be in Steeple Ashton on Friday, Broughton Gifford on Saturday afternoon, and again Melksham Town Centre Sunday afternoon. So all our details are on our social media page. We are also starting Blunt Truth again at Melksham Oak. So that is one of the best educational tools that the police and the NHS I think have ever rolled out together. Going into secondary schools and explaining to children not only the social side of being staff or carrying a knife in a public place, but the medical aspect of it, which is often overlooked. So we're having it again at Melksham Oak this year. We're very thankful to them for hosting us, and hopefully we'll be doing it again year on as we go. It is a funded scheme, so our hands are occasionally tied with funding, but I think this is really important for all of Wiltshire kids. Knife crime isn't just a city problem. It's epidemic throughout the country, whether you're in a village or a town. So it's important that we get that message across. So we'll be putting an awful lot of work into that this week. We have an ASB op plan for the Queensway area up to Heather Close in Melksham. That will be taking place in the next couple of weeks. We have enforcement action taking place in Melksham this week. So I can't go into any detail, but we'll tell you about that after we have carried out our enforcement. And we'll also be supporting Youth for Christ and Wiltshire Council sport team for diversionary work that they're carrying out in the forest area in the next couple of weeks and months. I'm just going to go over a couple of statistics with you. Well, I'm quite pleased with them, so I hope you will be also. So Melksham, year on, year off. So if we compare to 2023 to 2024, I'm just going to let you know the increase and decrease in some general crimes. So violence has increased by 19 reports. That is within the town and within the home. So we're looking at domestic incidents as well for that. Burglary has decreased by 10 reports. Criminal damage remains the same, 0 increase or decrease. Exactly the same with robbery, 6 reports in 2023, 6 reports in 2024. Drug offences have gone down by 25 reports, and that's something that our team are very keen on hammering out the community, because that's generally where we get more offences are linked to drugs than any other. Vehicle crime went up by 43 reports. Now that's due to a crime series that we had throughout Wiltshire, even Somerset, and some other surrounding forces, where we had an organised group basically sweep through the area very quickly, very efficiently, breaking into vehicles. That investigation is ongoing. We've had 190 report decrease in theft from 2023 to 2024. So that is very good. We're very proud with that. So 190 less than we had in 2023. Possession of weapon offences, that's a decrease of 10 reports. Public order offences, swearing, that sort of behaviour in the public arena, that's gone up by 12. So overall, in total, we're looking at a decrease in 122 crime reports in the Melksham area. And that concludes my presentation. If there's any questions or queries, I'm more than happy to answer as best I can.
Thank you very much, John and Jenny.
Thank you. Just on those numbers that you were reporting, where there's the decrease in the number of reports, is it possible, maybe not now, but if you can send it so we can contextualise those? Because if it's 6 less, is that 6 less than 50 last time, or 6 less than 12 or more?
Right. So I can tell you that. So but it is like flat on. So for example,
I've seen more where they've gone up and down.
what geographically?
No, for instance, you said I think violent.
Yeah,
including domestic violence, have gone up
by 19 reports.
19.
Yeah, so that's 748 reports in
Right.
2023, 767 in
So
2024.
contextually against where there's only 4 or 5, yeah, okay. And can I congratulate you on the reduction in the drugs numbers, because those so much are the cause of so many others.
Yeah,
and-
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, we will remain focused on that. That's where the closure orders and things like that come into place. So yeah, lovely.
Thank you. Jenny?
Hello. No, I think it's a great report. Obviously, I know Wiltshire Police are running walk and talk things around women's safety, and I know Melksham's not on the list to get any.
Yeah.
Any chance we can push for them?
I would imagine so. That's not something that our team do,
Yeah.
but we'll certainly raise your concerns to the team that are leading that. I'd imagine it's just going to be a case of, making sure that they're rolled out.
Yeah, I know
Steady
they've been
numbers,
incredibly successful in both let's play Salisbury and in Swindon. I appreciate they're much larger towns and cities than we are.
Yeah.
But I think, it would be really worthwhile pushing them to be in the smaller towns, because sometimes that's where it's hidden.
Yeah, I agree. So what we started doing something a little bit different. So we kind of run evening events where we are not as seen as we would usually be, and we're watching people for kind of predatory behaviours, things like that. So we still have something in place to protect women and girls, especially during the nighttime economy. So that will probably be kind of like a gap fill in the time being. So I'd imagine when the time is right, that will be rolled out to smaller places as well.
Thank you.
Anything else for anyone else? Okay,
Right,
thank you very much for coming.
pleasure,
Always a pleasure to see you.
and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Item 8, report from unitary councillors. John, hello.
That's not the only one today, aren't I?
Do you have anything?
Just a couple of things. Obviously, members will be aware that Wiltshire Council had a special meeting, was it last week or week before, they all blur, with regards to the Heart of Wessex devolution proposals. Just to clarify a couple of points on that, which I think are important. If you read the media, you'd think that we're about to have a massive local government reorganisation and shake-up. That is not the case for any of the interested authorities in Heart of Wessex. We don't know yet whether the government will progress with the Heart of Wessex proposal or not. But even if it does, there is no local government reorganisation required, because all of the members or potential members are already unitary councils. So no delays to elections, no massive shake-ups, no changes in terms of the principal level authorities. Everything will continue exactly as it is now. It is worth noting that since Wiltshire had that meeting, when we were told that Wiltshire, Dorset and Somerset were interested in being part of Wessex, VCP Council, Bournemouth, Poole and Christchurch have now also said that they would like to participate. Swindon have basically said they don't know what they want to do. I know that Swindon are very keen to look more eastwards towards Berkshire, but one of their problems is the government's rules has that you've got to have a contiguous boundary, and there is no boundary between Swindon and Berkshire. So they'd have to have one of the South Oxford ones coming into it as well for that to work. So time will tell what Swindon will do. Obviously, Wiltshire Council is in the process now of putting its budget together, and the details are due, I believe, to be released to the Greater Roche, which includes me, later this week. We have a briefing for members on Wednesday. From that point on, but it is my understanding we'll be looking at the standard rises in line with what the government allows you to take, which means I think 5% council tax rise. And then very lastly, just in my role as a Wiltshire councillor, my duties on the LGA have expanded slightly. I've been changed from the deputy chair to the vice chair on the Children and People's Board, which basically means you go for the number 2 slots who step in for the chair, because every party has a deputy chair. But one of them is more important than the others this year, it's me. And also I have now been approved by the LGA as a peer mentor, which means I spend some of my time now working with members from other councils to advise them how to undertake their duties, and also sitting on corporate peer challenges, where a team will go into a council and effectively inspect it, what the audit commission is to do.
Thank you very much and congratulations, John. Right, item 9. Employee discretion policy, to receive and adopt the employee discretion policy. Just a quick bit of background. Can you confirm why this has come to us?
This was just something that Calpesh asked our RFO asked to be put on the agenda because it hadn't been adopted by council for a number of years. They just brought it forward to be re-adopted.
Okay, do we have any comments on that? Yes, John.
Can I just check, yeah, having read through it, it seems to me that with the exception of updating the names and titles of committees, etc., there's no substantive change to what we had in it before. Is that correct?
Yes.
In which case, I'm happy to move.
Yes.
I have a question. It's not so much about the
I will second that, John, just so you know, but yes.
not really about the wording of the document that I have no problem with, but a question. Have any occasions occurred during the term of the current council when which a payment or some sort of action has been taken that would fall within this policy? Discretionary payments and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to come in on that, and John?
Well, yes. I don't think it would be appropriate to talk about what they are in an open council session. We don't talk about staffing matters publicly, but yes, mainly the one that comes to mind, but there might be a second one. But one of the items in here is in the event of somebody being made redundant within after their 55th birthday, then we have to make the pension up, and that was the case with one member of staff. I think there's a couple of others as well, but we'll be getting into identifiable data, and I'm really uncomfortable with the concept.
Yes,
Thank you, John.
That was not my intention.
Yeah.
Just a question.
Great. Any more comments from anyone? In that case, then I'll go to the vote. All in favour? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Item 10, East of Melksham Community Centre, to receive any updates. I believe it's on the agenda as a standing item, so it comes for council every single time, just in case there is an update. From my understanding, at this time, there is no update. Can you just confirm where we are from last time, please?
Yes, it's with our solicitors, and I've been talking to the section 106 person, so she's sort of sending all the documents across, so I am working on it, but there's no update for this
We're
meeting.
just waiting information. Yes, Adrian.
Yeah, I appreciate how difficult it is, don't get me wrong. It's just that I was actually looking at I was looking at the SIL money, and I was looking at what was said about the SIL money. And it actually does state in there that if it comes a point where we can't proceed, then we have to go back to Melksham Without and discuss. I mean, how long do we leave things going before we talk to Melksham Without and talk about the fact that it's, I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, because, you know, we desperately want it to happen, but it is so slow. I mean, it's 6 years now. There comes a point where, is there a better use of this money that we could work with Melksham Without to do something else with? I just wondered what you thought about that.
Okay, John and then Safi.
Thank you, Chair. I'm wondering if it might be a good idea to bring a report to full council, simply clarifying exactly where we are on this, because I think there's so much confusion now about what stage we're at. I remember voting for planning permission to be put in for this on the site by the doctor's surgery quite a long time ago. Has that planning permission ever been submitted? I'm not expecting answers now because frankly, you weren't here then, Tracy. It'll be unfair to expect you to instantly know. But I think that, you know, there were lots of things that as councillors, we were under the impression or expected were happening. And it seems, or potentially seems, they haven't. And I think that we really need to know where we are, what has, what hasn't happened, what steps we can. If planning permission wasn't submitted, can it now be submitted? Is there a reason why that wasn't submitted? None of this stuff has come back to us as members. So therefore, all we can do is hypothesize and start from scratch again at every meeting. One of the reasons for the delay, of course, was because there was this mistaken belief that we could, well, I never said we could, because I sort of, well, there was this mistaken belief that the site could be moved up to by the water meadow, which, you know, was always a fantasy. But you know, that's now come and gone. We are where we are. Once we knew that, we said, let's put planning permission in. And then we've hit silence again. So I really would urge that, I mean, the idea of it being put on every agenda was so that actually we did start to get some updates and stuff come through on it. And I appreciate people are busy, but we know nothing. And that's frankly embarrassing.
I mean, we have been working on it and I haven't got any significant update to give you at the moment. It is like pulling teeth, to be honest, but
You know how you feel, Tracy, because we've been putting them for 6 years. And the reality is that when, as a council, and I'm embarrassed that there's a colleague from Melksham about here this evening, and I have to say as a councillor, I don't know what stage this project is at. We shouldn't be in a position where councillors are saying that.
I will produce a timeline and correspondence.
Okay, thank you very much. Safi?
Yeah, I mean, as chair of VECDEV, I mean, it comes back to us every single time. And Mark, bless him, has come along to so many meetings asking for updates. And I think it needs to come off of that agenda and just solely sit under full council so that everybody is aware rather than it just coming to the VECDEV committee. But we do need to really start getting some answers at least and making some progress because, yeah, it is an embarrassing job, completely embarrassing. Yeah.
I just think that we should be also involving, I mean, you may be having discussions with Melksham Without, but we don't know that. And I think it's really important that we are very open about problems of actually getting this community centre sorted. And I would like to see us talking with Melksham Without so that we're all on the same page.
Jenny?
Yeah, I'd have to say, I've just sat and listened to all that, and I mean, I agree with everybody. I do think the concern we've got with the space that is now there, I should say it was the previous clerk who recommended that other space. The space that we've got there it's almost no longer fit for purpose for the expansion that is coming out there. And, you know, I know that there's more and more housing developments that are going into that bit of land, whether we're for them or against them is a totally different argument. I do wonder if it is worth just starting to, you know, you can duality do these things. That's not us saying that we absolutely aren't going to put the community centre where it was going to be, but it's just a conversation around, are there any ideas out there for what we could potentially do as a bigger community centre for the whole of the area? They're just ideas and they're not, you're the experts, not me.
Chair, can I just say, Councillor Bailey will remember that the last VECDEV, Councillor Pafford basically made the same suggestion that we scrap the 2 small ones and find a space for a big one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's worth.
Yeah, it's probably worth.
Yeah, so Charlie and then John.
To bring that up, so I now know meeting, yeah. I mean, as a resident of Melksham East, and I've been there for now 12 years, and you know, it was before I became councillor, it was really frustrating to hear about, community hall, nothing was done. It's now really frustrating as a councillor to hear community hall, and still no further than, you know, all those years back. You know, I agree. I think the land is probably right for what we now need. That, you know, Melksham East expanded. going to expand further at some point in the future. Let's not deny that. As others have said, at what point do we just cut our losses and go, this isn't working? Melksham Without have said they have other opportunities. We need to talk to them and find out, actually, those are probably more likely to happen. And do we use the money for us?
Thank you. John?
I'm sorry, I'll come back on this. The plot of land hasn't shrunk. The plot of land that was earmarked for the community centre is exactly the same now that it was 8 years ago or 9 years ago when the planning applications ran through. Okay, the plot of land is exactly the same. Okay, that's not shrunk, it's not moved, it's not changed.
I did.
That's fine. Let's just let we'll come back to let John.
The argument that there has been throughout about the fact that the rest of the east of Melksham development got absolutely shafted on their community centre is a perfectly valid argument. I'm no longer the elected member for that development, so I look at it slightly less passionately now than I did before. But I still think it's worth noting that the development that is earmarked to be, and that the funding is all there earmarked for, that was to be built on the 450 homes, Hunter's Estate, whatever it's called, okay, is entirely funded by those 450 homes and their sole payment and Section 106 money from that payment. All of the sole money and certainly the Section 106 money for the rest of the east of Melksham development was used for other purposes, and unfortunately, and no blame goes to the parish on this, because I know that they were arguing for Wiltshire Council up until the day that the planning permission went through, but it was still the community money for the rest of the east of Melksham went to the school for shared facilities at the school, and I just worry about taking this little bit right down the very south of the east of Melksham development and saying that the funding that's come from all the people who bought those homes will now be taken for something in the north of the east of Melksham, long distance from where those people live, but they're not. But we need to have a proper debate on that.
I'll let Charlie respond and then Jenny.
I think that actually this is one of the things that is an issue, is there is no clarity as which money is being used for what, because I'm not, like I said before I became councillor, we were told that obviously we knew that Melksham East, from where I was near Watermeadow and that, we had money for a community centre at one point, and that never came about. Now, when we talk about community centre now, and we are talking about down at the Hunter's Wood estate, that is a different Section 106 to what was original. And when I talk to people on the doorstep, and they're like, well, where's this, where's this community centre that we were promised all these years ago? We have to be mindful in meetings, especially, to make it very clear, and when we're talking to people, that there are two separate things, two separate pots of money. That first pot of money no longer exists.
Exactly, and that's my point.
If we can, because we're having a bit of back and forth.
I just agree with you, John. I think the two things just to note, and they have been noted multiple times when we've talked about this, is one, they have put more houses in behind where the community centre was, not on the land, because they used the frankly nonsense excuse of it gave better parking to the community centre, despite the fact that no new housing estate has any good on-street parking. And two, we have done multiple times of knocking on doors in that community centre. They don't care where it is. We have been up where that community centre is supposed to serve. The area of Hunter's Wood, whatever we want to call it. They want it in the best place that is for the whole community. I appreciate that their Section 106 money went to that community centre. But what is the point of building a community centre for 400 houses when we can put the money together and get a good community centre for an entire section of our community? I think we are looking at it through I think we are making right the enemy of good here. And I think we have to look at it as serving a whole community. So at the moment, you are right, your section where the money disappeared to aren't being served at all because they were fobbed off with a school. So actually we have to serve everyone. I appreciate the money has come from that little section of housing, but when you knock on their doors, they don't really care what it is. There might be some people who do, but I mean, I've knocked on a lot of those doors in the last 2 years.
Thank you very much. I think ultimately, we don't really know we are doing. We keep coming back, and Trace said she's going to get a timeline ready for us for the next full council meeting. I think that's a good step forward. Is there any other point that anyone would like to make now that could help bring it forward? Are we happy to wait for it to come to the next full council and we have a clearer understanding of what has been done and where we actually are? Because again, it's not fair to put on Tracy now, but we do need to.
But that report includes actions that have happened, because I think that if, for instance, stuff did go into planning and it came back with feedback, or whether it was formally placed or not, it would be helpful to have all of that information.
Yeah.
So that we're making informed decisions and conversations and not starting from scratch.
Yeah, very good point. Thank you very much. So this is to know, and we will get a report for the next full council. If there's no more comments, I'll move to the next item. Thank you very much. Item 11, Operation Christmas Child. A report was made to Community Development on Tuesday, 3rd December, for Operation Christmas Child. I may, if possible, as the chair
Do that.
of Form Deb is here today. Would you want to give an overview of
Yeah.
kind of?
Operation Christmas Child, I think probably, hopefully everyone in the room knows what Operation Christmas Child is, but for those of you who don't, it's obviously a organisation. It's a shoebox essentially that's wrapped in Christmas paper. It's filled, children often do it in their schools, and they put kind of gifts and some food in there, and it's then given to the charity called Operation Christmas Child, who take it to countries that are in need. They have expanded where they go to. Sorry, not food. Do they not allow food anymore?
No, 'cause you can't ship
My
it.
apologies. But they have expanded the remit of where they take them to. But we used to be a drop-off centre. Melksham Town Centre used to be a drop-off centre. They're now not a drop-off centre. And I think that I actually believe you said, yeah, you originally proposed this. Well, not originally, but you proposed it, that we became a drop-off centre again. It is a lovely thing that young people like to do. There was some controversy around it about 10 years ago. That might have been why we stopped.
I remember about that, Jenny.
Yeah, and I believe that the charity has tried to do a lot to rectify that in the last couple of years.
It wasn't that long ago, it was only about 4 years ago at the most. And there was some suggestion that came from a member of staff actually at the time that the boxes were only being offered to children who had made some kind of not promise, but you know, what's the word I'm searching for? Indication that they would support, that they were part of the religious community rather than just giving to people in need.
That was from 2017, and he'll keep telling you.
Well,
That's quite a long time ago now.
Yeah, it's longer than I thought. Yeah. But anyway, but I'm sure
But they have done a lot to try and rectify that and to make it much more even. I do know that a number of them have been out, obviously, to places like Ukraine, in the last couple of
lots of
years.
Eastern
European countries, as well as obviously other countries in need.
That's them crazy about Italy, but it goes on now and then. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Adrian.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it actually does help us to explain to children that not everybody lives within the safety and security that we have in this country. There was a lot of controversy, and it actually goes back even before 2017. And you will always get people who object to the fact that they do put a Christian into each box, and that's where the controversy starts. But at the end of the day, it's about a child from this country who actually has got a lovely Christmas coming up, being able to put together a little box, and that goes out to a child who is living in a war zone, maybe. How can we say that just because they put a Christian leaflet in, we shouldn't be doing that? I really feel quite strongly about that, and I would like to propose, if it hasn't been proposed, that we do become a drop-off centre. Because it's just such a lovely thing to do, and the children in this country love doing it.
And you should see the foyer in the hall, it was just downstairs, it was just a block
Yeah.
with boxes and there's a palpable sense of excitement in the air when the lorry comes to pick it up. It's really doing it really is.
Brilliant. So we have a proposal and seconder. Any more comments on this? So I'll go to the vote. All in favour? Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Right, moving on to item 12, which is it's fine, grants policy. So I'm hoping you've obviously all had the opportunity to read grants policy. I'll try and answer, Andrew, but obviously I've just picked this up, but
No, my only suggestion is that we remove reference to checks and that any grants are paid by bank transfer.
can't see anything with that.
We then get enhanced traceability.
I would say I noticed that in version 2 that was provided to the committee clerk on Friday has got that element removed.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jenny?
So the 3 points that I wanted to make up were, so section 2.6, are we able to say in there that if the applicant doesn't come to the meeting, that we will potentially defer their application to the next grant meeting? So I just think we really have to encourage people to come.
2.7, you mean?
Whichever point it is. It's the one that says that.
2.7, yeah,
My
you need to
apologies.
attend.
I just think we have to get people to come because it's really hard to give grants out to people when they're not in the room when we've got questions. There is another one which is, now I've got my numbers wrong, 4.2.11, where it says that Melksham Town Council will be rejected. I have just, I think it's meant to say Melksham without parish council. But can we just make sure that that's amended? Because
Sorry, can I just make a comment about people having to come to the meeting? What about accessibility if?
on Zoom's
That's
fine.
Zoom,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
I think just on Zoom is absolutely fine, not a problem at all. I think they need to be here to answer questions. But yeah, of course, on Zoom. And then I just wondered if also within the grants policy, and maybe it just needs to be within the application pack itself, a diagram of Melksham without, a real understanding of the differences. Because I just think the reality is that unless you sit on these councils and you're really involved in politics, you don't know the difference.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important that we really lay out exactly where Melksham Town and Melksham Without are.
Yeah, on the online, because the application form is now going digital, so on that it actually says if you live within and it breaks it down to location, you're not eligible to apply.
But a map as well.
Yeah, I think visual.
Yeah, it's just bullet.
Get a map in there.
It's always good.
Yeah, I just think it's really important that we really show the difference.
Somebody, question, John, or are you looking to move?
Well, I'd be happy to move it in a minute, but there's a couple of points first. Reading this, it tightens up quite a lot of the stuff on the grants. I do wonder though if we ought to go a little bit further, because when we've had grant rounds and we've had the discussions about the stuff before us, there's been a lot of members who've talked about the fact that we get grants for some pretty weird things that sometimes can be a struggle to identify how they are contributing towards what we as a council want to achieve. So I do wonder if that, particularly with the core grants, when we're talking about offering organisations, and I suppose I should declare an interest here as somebody who runs an organisation receiving one of these. But the point I made to the deputy clerk when I spoke about this earlier one today was that I think that we should have far stricter rules around the awarding of that grant and the spending of that grant. Because at the moment, effectively, as an organisation, we come along and say, we want to do X, Y, Z. Give us some cash. The town council very generously signs up to give us cash for 4 years, and we can effectively spend it how we want. And I think that what would be better is if the core grants, and I gave some alternative wording to Hayley earlier for this, but the core grants funding stipulated that the person or the organisation looking for that funding should demonstrate how the outcomes of the work that they will be undertaking meet the strategic aims of the town council. Because actually, if someone wants to come along and say, give us £10,000 of your money, and I want to do something, however worthy it is, if what they want to do with it doesn't fit in with what we as a council are trying to achieve, then as a council, we are wasting that money. Because we're not striking forward to delivering what we as an organisation want to deliver. So I gave some better wording to Hayley earlier on, but the principle is I really do believe that core grants should be there as a partnership between the organisation getting the funding and the town council. What I also wanted to suggest was that any of our grants, we should put in a stipulation similar to what the area board put in, actually, that this is nothing new. But I don't think, you know, we give away a substantial amount of our money every year as grant funding. Most people don't recognise that funding happens. And I think that we should actually be putting a requirement on recipients of the funding that if they are in receipt of a grant from the town council, any publicity they produce should include an acknowledgement to the town council, including the town crest on it. And if we are funding towards a capital project, that capital project should include in a prominent location a plaque that said, we've seen them, you know, supported by lottery, supported by whoever. It should say supported by Melksham Town Council and the crest on it, because I think that we need to start making people aware better of how we spend their money.
Thank you, John. All really good points.
Yeah.
Adrian?
Thank you. Yeah, actually, John was speaking and then it sort of, I thought of something, which is basically when we come to the large grants, I think we've talked about it before, but I didn't see it in the policy, is that really there should be a service level agreement between the large grants.
Yes.
So with what John was saying, just take the Rhythm Festival, for example, we always put the logos on. We're on absolutely every single piece of publicity and make certain that the Melksham Town Council have got a free stand. And there's other things I can't think of off the top of my head, but those two are. And I think, you know, it's incumbent upon us, with somebody who is receiving a large grant, to actually thank Melksham Town Council in every way that we can. Therefore, I think there should be just that, it doesn't need to be a long service level agreement, just a short one. So what the expectations are for that organisation receiving it to make certain that the public of Melksham Town and beyond know what their money is going towards.
Yep, me too. Hayley, how do you feel about those?
Yes, I'm just looking through because you all remind me. So 7.2.13 currently says the recognition of Melksham Town Council support must be given on all printed, electronic material, websites, social media and press releases produced by the organisation. So what we could do is add on what Councillor Hubbard said regarding the plaque. And then I think we've covered all of your concerns.
Do you think that whoever is the recipient of a large grant should sign a very short SLA though, because then it's a bit like the fact that I can't remember reading that in there. Yeah. Whereas if you've got a signed document, you will remember.
Yeah, I think what we can. Sorry.
I would actually build on that slightly, Chair, and suggest actually that there's one for all grants, that when you accept the grant, there's something there that reminds you. For the smaller grants, it can be only 3 bullets rather than 10 bullets or whatever, but something that reminds you, in exchange for this money, you are agreeing to do the following.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, I'm really conscious that this is taxpayers' money. We need to make organisations that are successful with grants accountable for how they're spending it. So in the letter of confirmation, if they've been successful, we can actually refer to 7.1.2, just as, like you say, as reminders. And when they do their monitoring forms, we can ensure that they are following the terms and conditions.
Okay, Jen?
Also on 7.2.1, bullet point 1.2.5, so successful applicants will be invited to full council to receive their cheque and a photograph with Melksham Mayor. Are we expecting that they'll come to the full council straight after, or will it be the annual meeting that they'll be invited to? Because I just know at Melksham they make a huge deal of it being at the annual meeting. They get handed like a big cheque and it's all a big kind of song and dance and I used to do.
I think it's quite nice. In my thoughts were the following: to have two. So they come to the full council after you've decided if they're successful, where they can receive their big grant and we get the first lot of publicity. And then the annual meeting, they then come back again and have photos, and that's all about actually how have you spent the money and what have you done? Because they will get the money in advance of the annual meeting. So it seems like you're going to miss out on a PR opportunity for what could be 6 months or a year, depending on
Which cycle?
which cycle they go in. So I think you'd get a double bubble.
Yeah, double whammies. Really
Yeah.
good, yeah, absolutely.
I wonder if we need something, and apologies, there may have been, but I couldn't see it. Is there anything in there about them attending the?
It is 7.2.7. Successful applications must attend the annual town meeting to present how Melksham Town Council grant has made an impact. Please note, non-attendance will mean Melksham Town Council can recover the grant allocation.
They said we will need to attend on the bus at the moment, so.
Yes, I changed it. The reason for that, and I know that that can come across quite harsh, but I've seen it on many experiences, or I've been a grant application myself, where you have to attend to be accountable. I know area board is very strict on that.
Yeah.
And again, they could come online, but I do think we need to be hearing how they have spent that money.
Agree completely. Tom and then John.
Just to confirm there, sorry. So we're saying if they don't attend the meeting, then they get their grant taken off. I'm just saying there might be some really extreme circumstances. Yes, make sure the wording is could. So there could be some really extreme
It says can
circumstances.
recover, may mean
Yeah.
Melksham Town Council can recover.
That's fine. If that's what the wording says, we'll make sure it does say that, just in case something unplanned happens. You never know.
Something unplanned happens, what they could do under those circumstances is write a written report that could still come into offices if there's a worst case scenario.
Okay.
Or it is just your elected board, because it will be a board or an organisation that should be able to attend.
Yeah, that's fine. Just want clarity.
Thank you, John.
2 points, one relatively minor, one just a clarification. First of all, can I beg, if we're going to have 7.2.2, 7.2.3, can we have the numbers, not the bullet points? The paper I've got, they're all bullet points, they're not numbers. And it just makes it complicated.
Yeah, mine's the same, just.
It's got numbers.
Okay, and then if I can count correctly, 7.2.8.
What's the start with?
Just reading that, can I suggest we change that slightly? The organisation must be able to provide approved accounts or receipts, invoices and other evidence of how the funds are being spent. Because I think that if you've got an organisation, let's take, I mean, the Food Festival or Young Melksham, Social Youth or whoever, even the Christmas lights, you've got a significant amount of money that's been given to an organisation. They have a good set of accounts that demonstrates that the money has been used appropriately and all the rest of it. But for Full Youth, 10K, do you want me to find you any single receipt or invoice that was ever related to that 10,000? I could end up spending more on staff costs, finding the paperwork. But if I've got a set of accounts that have shown that money come in, earmarked accordingly and spent against those cost codes, that an accountant has signed off.
I don't think that's an issue if you can see.
But that's not what it says at the moment.
Yeah.
It says you must be able to provide receipts, invoices and other evidence. And we say approved accounts or, and then
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, we can produce it, but it's
Yes.
the time it would take.
Yeah. Are we all happy with that then? I think John's.
They're fairly minor changes, but significant as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Are we happy to approve this with those changes made to it? So John, you proposed.
I proposed, yeah.
And so you need.
And I'm just and thank you for the work involved in this, because it's really good to see something coming through that we've asked for and bringing to a conclusion.
Yeah. Okay, so all in favour? Thank you. And back over to you.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. Item 13, accounts. So 13.1, to receive statements from October and November. Do we have any comments on this? Just to receive.
These,
Oh, sorry, yes.
sorry, these are the ones, are these the ones that, the finance committee
Yes.
again declined to approve?
No, these are the ones you accepted. The one you declined to approve has been not on here. These are just the Unity Lloyd statements which you accepted.
Any more comments on 13.1?
I just have one query that I might bring up privately, because I'm a bit confused by one payment that we've made, which was on the 16th of the 10th. I think I know what it is, because it says 128.34, travel lodge hyphen proms. Is that because we actually had to put somebody up in the travel lodge who came to the proms? Oh, no, I think it's probably better if I ask it.
We can find out, certainly.
I think that's what I worked it out as, but I didn't know that we had to have a technician that stayed, we had to pay for, but if somebody can find that out for me, I'll be grateful.
That's a good point. 13.2, are there any comments on Lloyds Bank? Okay. 13.3, petty cash. So in that case then, can I see these as received? No other comments? Brilliant. Thank you very much. So committee minutes. So to receive the minutes from asset and amenities, any comments? Brilliant. Minutes from ComDev. Fantastic. And finally, the minutes from economic development. Anyone for anyone? Perfect. All received. Thank you very much. Item 15, to note that the regulation 16 consultation ends on the 22nd of January, so in 2 days' time. And an examiner will be appointed. Are there any comments on the neighbourhood plan? From you, Pat, are you one of our representatives, I believe?
Waiting for something. I've got a note here in my diary that says there might be a meeting this week, but as I haven't heard anything, I'm assuming it's not happening, but it was some kind of formulating report.
Next Wednesday, possibly. Depends on the outcome of a conversation with the studios as to whether there's anything in the regulation 16 consultation that needs commenting on.
Yeah. 29th then.
Yes.
Yes, I have got possibly.
Any comments, Pat? We're happy to.
So what Andrew said will suffice, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. So we get this bit. So first of all, for the session, there is an item in there of deployable cameras that was put in there by mistake. I would like to bring that out of confidential session and debate publicly, and I think that's one we can agree to be public. And then I understand, John, you have some concerns on the other aspect of CCTV, but if you're happy for us to do deployable cameras.
Well, when we get to it, we do it.
Yeah, so we will, I won't ignore it, but we will do that. So we did have a report from the head of operations. No. So they had for deployable camera, they is not competition session, it is in public session.
I don't know if it's one of these, Tom. I can't read it from here.
I haven't got my laptop. Did we all get the report from the operations manager on the deployable cameras?
It's not a good report. All I've got is.
We got I believe we got an email sent with. Yeah. Was it not in the? Yeah.
Try to get to it from the private session.
The agenda.
You get a blank sheet. Well, that's what I got anyway. I got no further than a blank sheet, but I did speak to Andrew. He sent it to me. So
there's nothing in
Yeah, here, put it on mine.
It's on the agenda.
Think you refresh?
There's a link. Not everyone may not have.
It's not that Gov has only refreshed today, because I've been trying for a week to try and get on stuff, and for some reason it's the system, not anything that anyone's.
It was definitely accessible earlier on in the week, but yeah, that's.
And it's definitely gone because I tried, but it came back today. I've just managed to get on something else as well. It probably means that people haven't read it.
it's quite short.
I'm not sure what it is I'm looking at. I've got On the agenda pack, on page 107, I've got a set of minutes from a previous meeting,
Yeah,
and that's it. The links in those minutes,
Page 2 of that, page 2, 3 and 4? Page 2 and 3.
page 107,
108.
108, 109, there's no, so it's that but that's all part of the original document, isn't it?
There's an update.
Or is 108 and 109 a separate document?
No, it's on the same document.
So, but is 108 and 109 what we've been told is the report from the head of operations?
Yes, because there's a piece on here about
Yeah,
needing new 4G cards. The cost
Yeah.
of these would be in the region of £800 per year. That's on page 109 in the
I-
first,
Yeah.
second bullet point.
Obviously don't have it.
are we able to get that up? Or
Which one? Can you
it's
see
this, it's that there, which means.
If it's not
It's
one of
on
these,
the-
then no, I can't. That's what I'm saying. I can't
No.
actually see
Directly of Mo-
which one.
Apologies to anyone watching from home, we're just trying to get our technology sorted in a minute.
You refresh.
Yeah, I haven't
Cookies?
sent it out.
Did you catch?
I sent the copy.
It's in the actual agenda.
No, that's.
Maybe you shouldn't have
It's
to
in
do
the
that.
actual agenda.
No, I'm with you, I'm with you,
Yeah, yeah.
but you shouldn't have to do
Yeah.
that.
I mean,
Agenda.
Only the public one. No, that's the report that came through today on the other matter.
Can you go to council?
I don't have,
No, I can't say anything.
This is
the
it.
report.
This is what actually on the
this.
I don't have that because
This-
that one's only come up here because it only came to me via email today, so I've emailed it on. But the other one I haven't got because I expected everybody to be able to access it on their private.
But they're saying people can issue the mod code, but they can't actually. Because it was in conflict section, not everyone could.
I go through Safari.
Can I email this to you?
Oh, that's useful, is it?
Yeah.
If you email it to AV, then yes, I can get it up.
We're just gonna get, so Teresa has it on her lap, we're gonna get that email to the page here and then we're gonna get it up on the screen.
As well.
Obviously, there's been some issue with ModGov where it hasn't gone through to everyone.
You got the report?
I have got page 108 and 109, but it's not until now I realise that this is a separate report.
I just said document restricted.
Because there's nothing in it, there's no heading on it, there's no details in it, indicating it's a report. It just looks like it's a continuation of the minutes above. I can't comprehend.
It's my emails.
Oh, and Andrew sent out.
That agenda. I was like, what do you mean? Yeah, it doesn't work on mine either. It's an absolute nightmare.
Chair, I think we should defer this item until such time as members have A,
People haven't had a chance to.
report, and B, had a chance to read it.
What I would say as well, I think that's a fair point. If I can also say this clearly, we're having some issue with ModGov, where some people are able to access it at times and not at times as well. That needs to be desperately looked into. Because I think, Jenny, am I right in saying you said it couldn't be accessed till today, but I could access it a few days ago.
I still have no access to it. Mine's
Yeah.
all coming up restricted.
So on a separate note, actually, can we look into all of our councillors and find out what they can see unrestricted and confidential? Because I have a real concern that we've got lots of our councillors who aren't able to see that.
Yeah.
I know ModGov isn't always the easiest thing to use and it can be very temperamental depending on what technology you have. So I think that definitely needs to be looked into. And I think you're right, John, we can't really make any kind of reasoned decision going forward.
I don't think let's have a proper report, because I've just briefly read through that report, and
I would
that's
support
not
it
something
as well.
that we should be making decisions on.
I was disappointed by that report as well, John. Okay, so deployable cameras then. I will defer that to the next full council. But with that as well, and that'll be a person promise for me, and this is for you, John, as well. I understand we have a CCTV working group. I understand pressures are high with timings for our team, but there are a few CCTV issues coming up, and we do need to have this working group meeting. I completely agree. Tracy, can you see any date in the diary now we can commit to a meeting? Can we do that now, do you think?
But for a working group?
Yeah. And if we do that here in a full council, then it's done. And we can't walk away and say, we'll set one up.
But the finance one sorted out. It is Monday the 10th. We've got the finance on the 17th. Could do the 10th.
It's supposed to be joint,
Want to do anything.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay,
That's
well,
for some reason
okay,
it's not
yeah,
showing,
I'll
but there is a finance
Okay,
meeting
and
on
we'll
the
speak to
17th.
the
I don't know why it's not showing on there.
You are on it, mate. It's Pat,
We've got
John,
spare
Dan, and John.
It's a 10th. actually.
Like, thank you.
Been asked to have an additional finance meeting on the, what date was we
Oh,
say?
sorry, my mistake. Yeah, I've accidentally put the special finance meeting on the 17th of January, not the 17th of Feb, so that's why it's not showing. I'll change that.
We're free on the 10th.
So the 10th is free. As I said, we had the 10th and the 17th, but
Okay.
until we knew when the finance meeting was taking place, I didn't want to commit anything else.
In that way, then, can I suggest that we pencil that in, but we need to speak to Mox about to ensure that someone from them, because is it a joint work group, I believe?
I would suggest we ought to have one of our members first.
Just so we have
Work out
an idea what we want.
from it, and then invite everyone else back in again, because I don't think we really got
No.
an adequate term of reference for it.
I mean, I'm not happy with that, and if we can say now in this meeting, the 10th of Feb, it is in the diary then, and we can't walk away and say it isn't planned. So apologies for that, guys.
Will that be 7 o'clock, Chair?
7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, yes. So for clarity, if people couldn't access the confidential items, there's some elements of the CCTV bits obviously haven't been passed on to everyone. There are some relatively time sensitive issues I'd like to discuss with CCTV. But
Confidential.
so I still feel this should be confidential. What are your opinions, Tracy?
Sorry, just clarify this, so the item is deferred to the next.
Deployable cameras are
To
deferred.
the next, to the working group or to the council, to the full council?
Well, we can go to the next working group and then that report and go to the full council.
So to the working group first?
Yes,
Okay.
that seems appropriate. So yes, there are some, what myself and the clerk feel some confidential matters that need to be discussed within confidential session. There are some elements of it that have been emailed confidentially to councillors regarding access to the cameras and who may have access to the cameras.
So,
No. So I'm suggesting that we go into confidential session to have that discussion. I know you had concerns, John. Do you want to?
if it's on the basis of the email that came out this afternoon, I don't see anything in that email that necessitates confidential session.
There's an element. I sent an email several weeks ago regarding unofficial access to the cameras that needs to be discussed in confidential session. We've been recommended it's a confidential item.
But it's not in the agenda. I can understand the report that came out this afternoon isn't in the agenda, but if we're talking about details of some, all I got, I do accept, but I got several weeks ago an email from you saying a breach had happened.
Yes.
There's nothing that's come in about any details.
Yeah, I understand that the
You can just propose confidential if you.
yes, I understand the agenda doesn't say that, but I would like to propose we go into confidential session to discuss that. Do I have a seconder? So I'm proposing we go into confidential session to discuss a confidential CCTV issue that I have alerted councillors to previously. Thank you very much, Charlie. All in favour? All against? Thank you very much. I don't mind. Is Ben allowed to be here for this?
Ben's leaving.
Okay, yeah. So I don't mean to be rude, Ben.
No, we're doing
Yeah. We'll just wait until it's.
Am I ending the meeting?
Yeah. Sorry.